I have had this pattern cut out and ready to show you for weeks. And so before I cut anything else out for any more videos, I thought I would get on here and sew it up and we'll just have a fun little time. So let me know if you're here. Give me a shout. Let's see. Hi, Jory. All right. So I am going to be sewing up the How You Doin' bowler bag from Sincerely Jen. And she is one of my favorites. I love her pattern so much. And this pattern, I think is it a drop-in? I'm not doing a drop-in. Yes, so it's originally in the pattern. It's a drop-in lining. Hi, guys. Yay, okay, we're getting a good crowd. So it's a drop-in lining in the pattern. I know Lauren Mormino has done it where you birth it. So that has been showed, but nobody has shown it using the binding method. And so I'm like, I'm gonna see if it's possible. It's totally possible and it's adorable. And so I'm going to do the binding method for this bowler bag for you guys. Hi, Kalisha. How are you? All right, so I've kind of prepped a few pieces because this is alive and I don't want it to take forever. So I have done a few things. I'm going to show you the one that I did do real quick already. Sorry. So this is my practice bowler bag. How You Doing bowler bag that I did with binding. Turned out pretty good. I like it a lot. One thing I love about this pattern is these connectors. How adorable are these connectors? And they're not hard to do at all. They're so simple, and all the little accent pieces on this bag just totally add to it. So this is what we're making. And I did do binding right there. You see that? It's bound with some bias tape. I'm just using waterproof canvas for this one. It's got a zipper pocket and a slip pocket. Yes, I'm going to the Sew Magical Expo in November. I'm going to have a booth. I'm going to be teaching a class. I'm super excited. So if you're going, hopefully I'll get to meet you guys. Okay, so this is what we're making. Put this back. All right. Yay, Brittany's here. Okay. We got a good group going. Let's start sewing this bag, and I will try to talk to you as I'm going about what I'm doing and try and answer questions. If I don't see your question and answer right away, please ask again. It's just probably because I didn't see it the first time. Okay, so let's start making this adorable bag. My computer's gonna be right there. That's just how it's gonna be, guys. I can't really do much about that. I need to figure out how to set this up a little bit differently, but it'll be okay. All right, so I'm using Decaville Light for all my pieces out of my seam allowances, my front and back and my bottom, okay? I've got those all prepped. Here's my bottom piece. And I did do Decaville Heavy on my bottom and some purse feet. All right, I'm using a matte rainbow finish hardware, which can you kind of see that? I am in love with the matte rainbow. I sell it on my website. All the hardware I'm using today, I sell on my website. Vinyl from Mary Beth Made It. This is a pre-order that she had, and I'm using waterproof canvas from fabric.com. And then my purple accent is that faux leather from Indo Love Creation that I am in love with. I love this stuff so much. All right, so we're just gonna jump right into it. So I've kind of prepped and did one connector just to refresh my memory on how I'm doing this. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you how to do these connectors. So it's just this rectangle connector that you start with. You put your piece on there. That's not anything that you don't know. On the pattern piece, it's marked out where these places go. I cut it out and I put it down here and I draw where this is gonna go. One other thing I forgot to mention with the binding is you do need to round your corners of the bottom of your bag because you're making a full circle gusset when you're doing the binding, and the pattern is hard squares. So you need to round your corners off on the main panel pieces. Okay. So I've sewn my connector. She has the measurements so for how far down you're supposed to sew it onto your bag, right in the middle of my marking there. All right, and then I'm gonna get my piece and I'll show you how I folded these. I have the other ones prepped and ready to go. And I will show you how I folded these all in. The thing about these connectors is, for me, it like is hard to wrap my head around which way is up. So you kind of have to look at it and make sure you're putting it on the correct way. So I'm going to put this on where my markings are on my pattern piece here and try to line that up as best as I can. And then the other important thing when you're sewing this bag is to protect your vinyl that's up here on your hardware, especially if you have a walking foot like I do. It will rip this vinyl up. So I just get a scrap piece of leather or vinyl, and I'm going to be putting that under my foot as I go to protect it. Okay. Hello, everybody. Yay. Good crowd. Here we go. I don't know about you guys, but here it is so bitter cold today. It was -1 when I took my daughter to school this morning. So that's really gross. So I will be staying inside all day. Okay, so I am going to just sew this on. I'm going to start up here and I'm just going to carefully sew around it. Again, I will be protecting my connector with a scrap piece of vinyl right here, okay? All right, here we go. You haven't missed anything, Hazel. I just started. Just go to the edge there and then make sure that you're still protecting your foot when you come over here on this side. Underneath your foot and then come down. Let me know if you need the camera closer or if this is good. Mary Grace, yeah, it is cold today, huh? We didn't get as much snow as I thought, but the temperature is staying so low. And I do have a kid sick at home today, so if he comes in, that's why. And I adjust my stitch length as I stitch around things like this, just so I can get it right to the edge where I want it, because the stitch length doesn't always, you know, line up perfectly for where you need to stop and turn. So I just adjust my stitch length. I've also heard you can do that by doing the reverse somehow. I don't know how to do that still. So if you do that. Here we go. Do you fold? Yes, I will show you on the other panel how I folded in these connectors. Okay, so that is that. And when I'm done with all the connectors, I'll be putting rivets in just like that on all of them. That's just something I wanted to add to it. It's not in the pattern, but you can do that. So that is what that looks like. So I'm going to do the other one and we'll start from scratch here. Okay, see, I haven't completely done these ones, so I could show you. Just turned on your AC. Oh my gosh. That's okay. Summertime will be feeling good and you guys will be burning up. So, okay. So this is what your connector piece looks like for those handles before you fold in the edges. I have a tape of double-sided tape going down and one going across. All right. I'm going to take the back off. I just did the one going down off. Okay. So that's kind of what we're dealing with. So it's shaped, you know, these two are closer together. These are the first two that you're going to be folding in. All right, so you're going to fold these bottom two up just like that. And then from there, you're folding in your corners into the middle. Right there. Right there. And then this one down here. Okay, and then that is what you end up with. And then I'm going to put a piece of double-sided tape along the back. Oh, I just almost cut my finger. All right, so that is one connector. I'm gonna do the same thing with this one. All right, so I'm gonna fold my bottom two smallest ones up first, right there, and then I'll fold in these corners here, and then the top. It's really not that hard. Like, it's such a cute little connector, super easy, super, super easy. I love her pattern so much. Okay, and so I already did my rectangle connectors. It's just a normal, you know, 1.5 inch wide strip. I just folded in, and then I put it around my connector. Nothing new and fancy about that. I love how Jen figured this out too. I think she's amazing. My brain does not work this way. Okay, so I do have my spots marked. I don't know if you can see them. And then my placement line for these connectors. So I'm gonna put the first one and line it up with that line that I have marked for the placement. And then I'm gonna sew this on here first before I put the connector piece on. And then I'll do the same on the other side. And just make sure you have it centered where you have marked it all out. I used, it's like a shiny silver marking. It's a pen I get from Lauren Mormino. I love, love, love these pens. They're for vinyl and leather, and they just wash off. Like, you can just get it wet and it comes right off. My favorite marking pen for when I'm doing vinyl bags. And she has refills for them, which is amazing. -7, yep. Okay, here we go. So I've got my piece. I'm gonna make sure I've got it laying right. I need double-sided tape on the back of that, and we will add them to our bag just like I did with the front or the back panel that I already showed you. I guess this is the front panel because it's got my nameplate on it. Okay. Make sure you've got it laying the right way. Line it up here. Looks good. Okay, here we go. Yeah, my two pens that I can't sew without are this one from Lauren Mormino and this Airline Erasing Sew Line pen. This is, you can get this on Amazon. It's on my Amazon link. These are my two must-haves for sewing bags, I would say. Cut this, get that out of my way. Brittany is giving you tips on what to do if your video is blurry. I think it's on your end if it is, because my connection here is good right now. So that's the first one. Ooh, let's get some light on that. Does that help? Woo, pretty. All right, so now we're gonna do the second one, and then I will be putting rivets through these as well. It is a bit thick. I am using the faux leather. It's quite a few layers right here. So I would suggest if you're on a domestic machine not to use the thick vinyl for this part, because this is kind of thick sewing it on, and I don't know if a domestic machine could handle the layers of vinyl for this or leather. So just keep that in mind. She does give directions in the pattern for fabric. So I know a domestic could handle the fabric. So if you wanted to do fabric connectors, you could totally do that. All right. So just keep in mind what your machine is and what it can handle when you're doing this. A hidden connector and then placing the overlay on top. Yeah, you could do that. I mean, I am sure there's multiple ways you could do this. Go for it. Yeah, it might ease the thickness if you did it that way. Good thought, Deborah. All right. There are my connectors. Okay. Front, that's what my back looks like. I'm gonna go ahead and put some rivets in real quick. I'll just bring my press over here so you guys can see it. Hi Country Adventures. Hi, Michelle. Where is my... Okay. Oh, sorry about that. I hit you with my chair. Hi from Austria. Yeah, would you still have to, if you had a hidden connector, you would still have to sew over everything. So I'm not sure. I'm just using my hand one for right now, my hand hole punch. Did you make your shirt? No, I did not. I wish I had time to make shirts. Bags is all I can do right now. Again, she doesn't have rivets in the pattern, but I'm just choosing to do them. I like the way it looks. And it gives it a little extra support. All right, so there are my rivets for that one, and let me put my other rivet on this one, and then we'll go to the next step. Yes, the link to the pattern is in the description below. That is something that I was able to do. So click for the description on this video and you should have a link for the pattern. It's Sincerely Jen Patterns. All right, so there are my connectors. Done. We're gonna do the little bit of overlay. Lisa embroidering, that's awesome. I need to get on my embroidery machine again. I haven't gotten back around to it. Okay, so after those are done, we're going to go ahead and add our cute little overlays for the corners here. And I haven't rounded the corners for my overlays yet, so I'll have to do that. So pretty much you have 2 mirrored pieces. Okay, just like that along the bottom. And we're just going to sew those on. Hi, Rochelle. Can this bag be made without binding? Yes, Rochelle, it can. In the pattern, it's made for a drop-in bag, drop-in lining, and Lauren Mormino does one where she does a birthing method. So you can make it multiple ways. Sasha, how's my foot feeling? My foot is like permanently damaged. I don't know. I had the surgery and it still is super sore and I can't do much on it. So I don't know what's wrong with my foot. But I can sew, so. All right, so I'm just sticking those on and now I'm going to top stitch. Along the edges here. And I'm just going nice and slow on that curve. And then I'm going to turn it over and just cut it so it's along my curve here, and then I will baste it down the rest of the way. I should embroider on a bag. I just need to find the right thing to do. I would love to do some embroidery on a bag. So many things to do, so little time, guys. So many ideas. All right, now I'm just basting the rest of this down. All right, so next one. Hi from Indiana. Thanks, Cynthia. And Cynthia, thank you for your sweet email. I forgot to respond, but thank you for your sweet email. I did get it. Hi, Hane. My sister-in-law, Hane, is here. Everybody say hi to Hane. Okay. There we go. Those are our accent pieces. So that is one finished panel. Let's do our other one right here. Okay. So this one goes over here. What am I making? I'm making the How You Doin' bowler bag from Sincerely Jen, but I am doing a binding method instead of a drop-in lining or a birthing. I love this style of bag so much. I love a good bowler bag. Okay, so go ahead and repeat for this other side. I meant to have one panel all sewn before I started the video, but I thought, it's fine, right? Okay, here we go. Hopefully I can get this whole bag done in one sitting. The floral vinyl came from Mary Beth Made It. It was a pre-order she was running. I'm not sure if it's still going. She's getting ready for a second round of pre-ordered custom fabric. That's very pretty. I really like it. All right, the other side here. That's okay. We haven't been on for long. Brittany, can you link Mary Beth's like Facebook page? Does she have a website, or Mary Beth's website? The floral vinyl, yeah. Okay. It'll be, thank you, Brittany. The floral will be available for retail at a later date after all the pre-order is done for it. Okay. Okay. There is my front panel. I got my back panel done. Let's move on to our zipper, our main zipper gusset. All right, so here is my main zipper. I've got a double pull there. Ooh, aren't those pulls cute? I have those on my website. I've already marked my center. And then I have my zipper panel pieces ready to go. It is not anything fancy. I am going to be doing a zipper panel, and then I will be attaching all the pieces to make it a big circle, because we're doing this binding method. So we have a big circle for our gusset when we attach it. I'm just marking my centers real quick. Deborah, I bought this pattern forever ago too, and I had just sewn it up recently doing the binding method. And I'm like, okay, I love it. I feel like drop-ins are hard when you don't have a cylinder arm, but some people rock at them and can do them no problems whatsoever. So do what works for you. My hands are shaky today. I don't know why. Annette, my employee, is so super cute. Her name is Hannah, and she is doing such a good job. She helped me fill all the orders from this weekend. I got them all out this morning thanks to her. She was a rock star. All right, here we go. So I already have the centers marked on my zipper, and you want to do the curved piece. So your panel is kind of curved on one side and straight on the other. So you're attaching the straight piece with your zipper. You're going to flip it over, right sides together, and we're just going to start attaching all of it. Yeah, I eat more food. I do need more food. I wish somebody could bring me a snack. Susan, you need to live here so you can bring me a snack. Everybody say hi to Susan. She had a fabulous birthday. We had so much fun. All right, so I am just basting my exterior down first, and then I will add the lining at the full seam allowance. On your way? Perfect. My sister's birthday, Mary Grace, she had a birthday last week, and I went to visit her for it. Okay, so now we want to attach our lining on the other side. So just make sure that it's the straight edge here, and you're gonna go, now my right sides are together and my zipper is sandwiched in between. And we're gonna sew this on. And I do on my zippers, I do a 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. My foot can't really do a 3/8. So I do a 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. Susan's gonna be joining me at the Sew Magical Expo again this year as well. And so is Brittany. We're all gonna be there at my booth. And my fabulous friend Leslie as well. It's gonna be so fun. Sewing queens, love it. You love the sound of my machine, thank you. All right, and so now we're just going to fold these out. So they are wrong sides together, but right sides facing out, and I am going to top stitch along the zipper. All right, here we go. So I just kind of make sure they're pulled out as I go. I don't really clip it, especially because it's just vinyl and waterproof canvas, and it tends to crease and fold super well. So I just do it with my hands as I go. Oh, Susan, you totally should bring your trumpet. That would be hilarious. It's gonna be a party. My sister is very musically talented and can play any instrument you throw at her. All right, and then I'm gonna go ahead and go around all of it and just baste it all together because we just want it to be one full panel. We don't need two separate pieces. All right, so that is what my first piece looks like. There's the front, there's the back. It's all one piece connected to each other, which is what we want. I'm making sure I caught all my, yep, we're good. All right, so now we're just gonna add to the other side. All right, here we go. The measurements of this bag, I don't know. In the pattern, I could probably pull it up, just a second. 11.5 wide, 8.5 high, and 5 inches deep. It's a good size bag. It's not a small wimpy thing. I forgot to see what the seam allowance is for most of this. Just a second. Let me do that before I go any further. Okay, perfect. Here we go. Let's finish this panel. Deborah, do those measurements help? Is that what you were wondering? All right, so basting this on first. Make sure I'm doing the right side, yeah? Yeah? Yeah. Am I? Just a second. Yeah, I am. Okay. I mean, I think I am. Am I? No, I'm not. I thought that looked wrong too. See? Don't do that. Don't do what I just did. Yeah, my sister helped create my funny little songs at the beginning of my videos. Some people love them, some people hate them. I love them. Look, I'm getting out my seam ripper. Happens to the best of us, guys. I'm glad I caught it before I sewed the whole thing on. Yep, wrong edge. I thought so. Thought it looked weird. Yeah. I did it before I finished it all on a live video. Huh. All right. Okay, there we go. Easy fix. Get my threads out and move on. Here we go. This is the right one. Yes. Okay, let's try that again, guys. Here we go. I just need to order some food. I should order some DoorDash. All right. Get your zippers and your seam rippers. That's right. And I think I need a new bobbin. No, I don't. It was just looking weird. All right, let's try this again. There we go. Oh no, you added a gusset complete with binding to find out it was upside down. Oh, that would be just so heartbreaking. That's the worst. The worst. Margaret, my vacation was fabulous. Thank you for asking. What? I missed something. What is that? Restocking. I was looking at your website for the scissors. I'm in the process of finding a new vendor because some of these scissors, they're super cute and I love them very much, but the handle, some of them, the handle part was falling off. So I think I need to search a little bit more for ones that I love. But yes, I am going to try and stock little zippers again. So yes. No, Dawn, that was my dad. That is my actual dad in the video. All right, make sure I've got the right, do I have the right side? My goodness, yes, okay. Yes, that is our actual dad in that little video that we have. He was so excited to do it. All right, here we go. Yeah, I do look like my dad. All right. Margaret, oh, you love your pen. I'm so glad. They're probably my favorite ones I've gotten so far. I put pens in the orders, and these last pens are so cool. I really like them. All right, let's top stitch. Yeah, we just told my dad to sit there and turn around and smile, and he was just like, okay. He was a good sport. And it's his cars that we use in the video too, and it's at his house, so there you go. Diane, how many children do I have? I have 6 children. Just a few. Kasaya, my figure 8 connectors. Oh, good. I'm glad you like those. Those are probably some of my favorite connectors. Those figure 8 ones. One busy mama. Yes, I am. I am. Although after this year, only 3. In August, only 3 will be living in the house. So that's kind of sad. All right, and now I'm just going to baste it all down. Margaret, yes, this is the Mary Beth made it. It's vinyl. How old is my youngest? She is 9, and that would be the ever so famous Charlotte. She is my baby. Not so much a baby anymore. All right, that is my zipper panel, front and back. Looks good. So now we're going to add our little side pieces here. Okay. So these go here. And there is, again, you have to pay to the direction of these because they do get wider at the bottom. All right. So I'm going to baste the exterior on first, and then we'll attach the lining. Hello, Kathy from Quebec. It's rainy. I'm so sorry. Okay, and I'm just basting this on first. And then I'm going to flip it over, and I will add my lining piece to that on the other side here. Line it all up together, and then I'm going to sew this. The seam allowance is 1/2 inch in this pattern. So I am going to sew this at 1/2 inch. I'm pretty sure that's what I did for my first one. I guess we'll find out. Hi from New Jersey. Hi, Jennifer. All right, and I am going to just trim my extra little zipper down because I don't really want that poking out and ripping anything or rubbing anything. And then melt your zipper every time you cut it. You don't want to leave that without melting it. Okay, so I'm going to flip both of these over and I will top stitch. Mr. B's baby. Yeah, I've debated to get my domestic out and do some tutorials on that. So I hear you. I may do that in the future. The honest truth is I'm not as familiar with it anymore because I've been sewing on my industrial for so long. So it's going to be a learning curve for me when I get it out. I'm just basting my pieces together as I go so I don't have to do it all together at the end. Just makes it a little bit easier. So there is my little add-on to the side. All right, go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. Again, this is only if you're binding it. I am binding this bag. And so this method for the gusset is a little bit different. So just be aware of which method you're doing. Hello from Michigan, Norway, awesome. Everybody's around today, huh? All right, basting the exterior on first. From Germany, hello. Okay. I do think most of these bags can be made on a domestic if you are using fabric, lightweight materials, and not vinyl. Just FYI, I'm pretty sure Jenny, the designer of Sincerely Jen, sews some of her stuff on a domestic. I could be wrong though. Hello from Norway. Trim this off. I always cut my zippers a little bit longer than I need, just so I have room for air. You can always trim them down. All right, here we go. Top stitch. I'm going to baste it this way. All right, and then I'm going to baste all these pieces together. All right, so once you have those two, now it's time to add your bottom base piece. Where is my other base piece? I have so much thread on the floor. Oh my goodness. Okay. Let's see. No, yes. Okay, so now we're gonna make this a full circle. All right, here we go. So we want to right sides down right here. And we're gonna connect these two, just like we've been doing, baste, and then add the lining. All right. Hi, Kirk. Thank you so much. right, turn it over and then add your lining, right sides down. Sandwich that zipper in the middle, zipper panel. All right. And I am doing a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Foundation paper piecing block terry. That's fun. I've done that before. Oh, I just dropped something. I love paper piecing. All right, and then I'm going to fold them both down, and then I'm going to top stitch. All right, so now you're going to take this side and connect it to the other side over here, okay? And that'll make your full circle gusset. All right. I'm going to baste my exterior, and then I will add my lining. What is paper piecing? It's a sewing method where you can make really cool things. All right. And then you want to take this and you're going to be flipping it all the way up here. And sewing that on. Do you have that color vinyl for sale? This is from Mary Beth Made It. This floral is from Mary Beth Made It, and she will have retail in a month or so. It was a pre-order, but she will be selling it for retail. Okay, so now I want to top stitch this other piece. Whew, that took a hot second. Sorry about that. All right. There we go. I want to top stitch this side, and then I will baste my edges of this base piece down because I want it to be one full piece. All right, so it's looking good. So now I just want to clip these pieces together, and I will baste them so I have one full circle. What time is it here? It's exactly noon. It is exactly the middle of the day here. It is lunchtime. No wonder I'm hungry. All right, so I'm just basting the two pieces together to get my nice round gusset piece. On this side. All right, so that is our completed gusset zipper panel. All right, look at that. Looks good. Super cute. I'm gonna set this aside and we are going to do our inside pieces here. I'm gonna do my slip pocket on one side and zipper pocket on the other. All I'm gonna do for, it's waterproof canvas, and I've seen Lauren Mormino just fold down her edge and top stitch and add it to her bag. I'm gonna do that because I wanna keep my seams pretty light with the binding. So that is what I'm going to do. Have I missed any questions? Kirk, yes, I will link Mary Beth Made It's website, but it's not for retail right now. It was a pre-order. It'll be for retail in about a month. I will probably post about it on my Facebook group when it does go live. Hi, Brandy. All right, so I'm just going to mark my centers on my, I need to have them marked anyways for putting this whole bag together. And my chalk pen flew earlier. Let me grab it. Getting crazy here in the sewing room. Okay, here we go. I'm just going to center this because then I can figure out where this is. I want to do it all at once and separate my pocket here. All right, here we go. I'm gonna sew this on. I'll put a couple clips on it so it doesn't move. Okay, here we go. Just basting this down, and then I will sew up the center to give it that separation as I go. And then I just like to come back down. Gives that double row of support for that divider. You don't want that busting. If you guys don't know Brandy, she's on here. She has a fabulous YouTube channel as well called Beans, Bags, and Handicrafts, and she does tutorials and they are fabulous. So go check her out if you haven't. Okay, so that is my simple slip pocket on one side. Just gonna mark that chalk off. All right, and then I'm just going to do the zipper pocket on this side. I'm just doing a basic, easy pocket. Nothing fancy about this zipper pocket. I usually measure about 1 inch down from the top here and mark out my piece. I know there's so many cool little templates you could use for this, but it's not that hard. I just measure 1 inch in on all sides. And there's my rectangle. Easy peasy. All right, I kind of already have my center marked on this piece. And then we're gonna go like this. Make the crease. That's why I love waterproof canvas. You can just crease it and go. And I'm gonna kind of go over my little tag there. Perfect. I may have to trim my pocket down a little bit. I made it a little bit too big. That's okay. All right, so around that rectangle. High Country Adventures, yes, it is freezing here today. It's in the single digits, and it's not supposed to get any warmer today. The nice thing is, it doesn't last that long here. It's like that for a day or two, and then it warms up again, and we're all good. I am trimming down my pocket just because it's a little too big. I just kind of winged it when I cut this out. That's better. Okay. You just want to make sure it's not going to get caught in where you're sewing it. I actually should sew it just a tiny bit more. Or cut it. What did I say? Sew it? I don't even know anymore. All right, here we go. It's nippy in Arizona. What is it, like 50, Sue? I know what nippy means in Arizona is like 50 degrees, 40 degrees. I have lots of family in Arizona. Brandy, oh, sorry. Did Brandy ask a question? Yes, I am going to the Sew Magical Expo. You are too, Brandy? I feel like so many people are going this year. It's going to be so fun. All right. Yep, I'm hoping to have a booth with all of my thread for sale and a couple other special things, some hardware kits, and specialty items just for the expo, so it should be fun. Yeah, Sonar is going to be there as well. So many people. All right, so where's my zipper? There it is. I am just creasing it down with my hand. Looks good. All right. When is the Sew Magical Expo, Mary? It's in November, and this one is in Florida at the Gaylord. They just announced that they are doing one next year in Texas as well. I probably will not be a vendor at the Texas one, but I might show up. We'll see. I think if Susan and I need to take a trip to Texas, we just might do that. Thank you, Brittany. Oh, Brandy, I hope it is too. Hopefully things get better, huh? Okay, here we go. There's my pocket. I'm gonna sew that up. We're almost there, guys. We're almost to the binding. How long have I been on? Okay, an hour. Doing good, doing good. I feel a little rushed when I do lives. Like I need to get it done in a certain amount of time. All right. Now I just need to sew up the back. I better show up in Texas. We'll see. We'll see what life is like in February. All right, here we go. I'm just sewing up this pocket, and then we're gonna start binding this bag. It really isn't, like, this bag doesn't take too long to get all the pieces sewn. Binding usually takes a little bit. What is the name of my website, Butterfly Chick? Sorry, I don't know your first name. It's just siaswagbags.com. No www in front of it. You'll offer her a real copy. That's awesome. All right. Okay, there's my pocket, all done. So now I need to attach these pieces to the front, outside, exterior pieces. All right, so I've just, make sure you're putting, I want my zipper pocket on my back. All right, that's how I like it. So I'm going to just baste these two pieces together. And then I'll do the same with the other two, and then we'll start prepping it for the binding. I would like to go just about anywhere. I am the same way. I'm like, are we traveling? We're going somewhere? I'm there. I don't care where it is. Thank you, Brittany, for linking that. Thank you, Nancy. You don't really have to clip all this on. I want to make sure I get it all. All right. So now you just want to baste these two front and back. They are wrong sides together. So my right sides are out. I'm going to baste these together. I'm actually going to baste it this way to make sure I get both pieces. So my lining seems to be a bit shorter. All right. Okay, ta-da! Front, back, other side. Dalva. All right, you were cleaning. Cleaning is good. All right, do the same thing here. Yes, Renee, there are now 2 expos, one in Orlando in November and one in Texas in February. I'm going to do the expo for 2 days, and then I am going to Disney World. All right. Those are my pieces. Here we go. I'm going to make sure I have my centers clipped on all my pieces because that's important. I think I do. I know I do there, and I know I do there. Okay, here we go. Moving you guys out just a little bit. Hi, everybody. Ooh, my cheeks are pink. I'm hot. Okay, here we go. So we're going to bind this. I want my front panel. I like to do my front panel first. There's not really a reason why. I don't know why. It's just what I've always learned to do. So you want to turn your gusset inside out. And we are going to be clipping right sides together all along. So I want to do my centers first. Okay. My centers first up here. And then I will just be clipping it all along. I may have to put some snips in the curves, especially down at the bottom. You probably need to do some snips in your curves. And maybe up here at the top as well. Bye, Brandy. Hi, Shauna. We are making the How You Doing bowler bag from Sincerely Jen. We are binding it. I just have to look up to make sure I'm in the camera here. All right. I definitely need to do some clips along my gusset. It's a nice tight gusset, which that is okay. That should work to our advantage here. So I am just going to be putting some clips, not big, because I'm going to sew it on at a 1/4 inch seam allowance. So you don't want to go too big along these curves. Just enough that you can get it to stretch a little and fit, okay? And up here too. Okay. Sorry, I'm reading comments. Did I miss anything? That just helps. It really does help it lay a little bit better down there. Oh, that's what I meant to do. Sorry, just a minute. I want to match. I don't think this worked out. I think my seam allowance was too big. Let's see. I think my seam allowance might have been too big. Because you want those side pieces to match up. Well, there you go. Don't do a 1/2 inch seam allowance. I should have written that down and I didn't. Now I remember. Can I still make it fit? Maybe. All right, if you're binding, don't do a 1/2 inch seam allowance. It makes it too small. Unless my center just moved, let's see. Nope, it didn't. All right, so my sides aren't gonna line up. Not much I can do about that right now. It is what it is. So if you are binding this, I forgot, you need to do a 1/4 of an inch seam allowance when you're sewing all the gusset together and not a 1/2. That's okay. I think this bag will still be super pretty even if my side pieces don't line up. Right? Right. If you don't know what I mean by that, I mean this accent piece and this purple side piece, they normally line up together on the pattern. And I did it on my Golden Girls one, so I must have done a smaller seam allowance on my Golden Girls one. Sorry, I'm sitting here talking to myself. It'll still fit beautifully, actually. But yeah, the side pieces won't line up. That's okay. Gotta adjust all this here. I always talk to myself too. At least I have someone to talk to right now, right? Dalva, I do a 1/4 of an inch. It's really up to you. I feel like it works the easiest and the best when I'm binding just to do a 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. That's just my opinion. I know some patterns say 3/8 of an inch. I just do a 1/4. And it turns out just fine. All right. Well, don't do what I did. Don't do a 1/2 inch seam allowance when you're sewing the whole gusset together. Do a 1/4. I'm having to work this because my gusset is too small. It'll fit, but I'm just having to work quite a bit of it in there. All right, got that all clipped on. I'm gonna make it work because this is a lie. And I'm not redoing my zipper panel. Oh my goodness, no way. All right, here we go. I'm gonna move this to the other side. Hey everybody. Let's move over here. It's a little bit easier to see when I'm doing this from this angle. Here we go. All right, I need a new bobbin before I start sewing all this on. Would it help if you make the front and the back a bit smaller? Yeah, that probably would help too. You could totally trim your front and back pieces. Yeah, that's probably what I should have done. I've done that before. I did that on the Conan bowler bag. I trimmed my front and back piece, which helped. But I've already got it all clipped on, so I'm not gonna do that on this piece. It'll still work just fine. Just learn from me. That's all. All right, here we go. I use a stiletto tool whenever I sew bags together, especially with the binding. They just really help be your finger and stay all the layers together. Like I just kind of use it as my guide instead of using my finger as a guide. And I always sew with my gusset up and the piece that I'm attaching to down. It just seems to lay together a lot nicer if you sew it that way. Hi, Sue. I'm gonna have to move this computer. It's gonna get in my way. There we go. So, because like around these corners, once you take the clip off, your corner wants to tend to move. So I hold it in place with my stiletto tool and it's super helpful. And you can kind of flatten the material too as you go so you're not sewing over any bumps. Okay. It also helps sewing it this way, flattening out any wrinkles that you may have along the piece. If your pieces are a little bit tight, it flattens this main panel piece as I sew because it's kind of stretching it with it in place this way. Another reason I like to sew it this way. And it does give a nice, good, tight fitting gusset when you do that. Gussets up. That's right. That's a good one. That's a good idea for a magnet. I like that. Good call, Deborah. Almost there. All right, so that is my first piece. Now I want to show you. It did slip a little right there, but it doesn't matter. You're not going to be able to tell. I'm going to trim this down a little. Did it slip a little there too? Because my gusset was so tight. Again, you could totally trim down your main panel pieces. That's probably what I should have done. I've done that before. I just don't think about it in the moment until after something is said. So same thing what I'm doing right now. I'm just trimming them down just a little bit to where I couldn't get it to fit. Trim down any extras because you really want to keep with that 1/4 inch seam allowance with the binding that you're putting on. So I'm just trimming down where it's a little bit over. Okay. And it looks good. Other than the fact that my accent pieces don't line up. I don't know if you can see it. Can you see that the accent piece doesn't line up? It still will look super cute. All right, so let's put that binding on. So many clips. I know, I use so many clips when I'm doing this. And I forgot to fold this first. Let me just fold it and get it a good crease. This is just a strip of 1 inch waterproof canvas is what I like to use. And I'm just folding it in the center to give it that crease for when I put it on my bag. It's already there. I usually do that ahead of time. I just didn't have time. Okay, here we go. So I'm just gonna start by folding it over. Super easy, okay? Attaching it is the hardest part. Doing the binding is kind of easy. You just are sandwiching that raw edge in between. The nice thing is it does not have to be perfect. You can barely see this binding when you are done inside your bag. So don't freak out if it is not perfect, because it won't be. I've looked at the stores and looked at bags that are binded and they are horrible. Like, and they're for sale for hundreds of dollars. So don't beat yourself up for not getting perfect binding, because it is, I feel, impossible and not noticeable. Hi, Carol. Did you cut straight strips? Nope. Waterproof canvas. You just cut straight strips of it. It doesn't matter. It's kind of got a little bit of a give to it, and it goes around those corners. It's fabulous. Just a 1-inch strip. Yeah, Nancy, I have too. I feel like my binding is 10 times better than half the bags that are sold in stores. So for reals, I feel pretty good about mine when it's done. The one thing I would suggest is having a thread that somewhat matches your bag. I don't like to do, I've done it, but I don't like the end result when I have, like, say I was doing white thread on this dark gray. You would be able to see every stitch and every mistake, and I don't like that per se. So I am doing a dark thread with my dark binding. I think that is the one thing I would do to make it look nice if I were you. Okay, so I just folded that all over. Super simple. All right, and again, I am doing gusset side up. Easiest way to sew it. On both sides, that's how I'm gonna do it. And I'm gonna sew around again at a 1/4 of an inch. Some people say you should do, you know, a 3/8 inch first, or a 1/4 inch first and then 3/8. I feel like it's up to you. This part, there isn't a right or wrong way to do this part. There's multiple ways. I don't do a zipper foot. I just use my normal foot because I am just using a 1/4 of an inch seam allowance, and my normal foot works great. Yeah, I've seen the fold over elastic for binding too. I think that's a fabulous idea. I have never tried that, but I feel like that would be so awesome. Okay. Like, I could go and do a 3/8 inch seam allowance here if I wanted to. I'm not going to though. And seriously, a stiletto tool for the binding is a must. Like, you definitely need it for this part. It really does help just hold that binding down where you want it, around those curves, especially. And sometimes I don't catch the other side on the curves, and I just go and do another stitch right next to it, catching that curve after I'm done with the whole thing. It happens. It just all depends on the bag and my luck. I will say that this has gotten a lot easier the more I've done it. Did I miss anything? How wide is my binding? It's 1 inch. If I make this with fabric, what would you... I would interface, if you were making this bag with fabric, I would do a woven and then a Decaville light. Maybe even a heavy, but I know some people like to do heavy when it's all fabric on a boulder bag like this because you really want that shape to stay in place. You don't want it to be flimsy at all. So it's up to you. Definitely keep it out of your seam allowances though. We are almost done with this bag. One more side. All right. So let's take a good look at it. And I will show you all my mistakes. Although I think I caught it all. I caught it all on both sides. How about that? Look at that. Okay, there was the back side. There is the side I was sewing on. And I am just gonna turn this out for you guys real quick, just so you can see it, okay? See the shape. Two lines of stitching. Yeah, you could totally do 2 lines of stitching as well. I love the shape the binding gives the bag. My sides don't add up, but to be honest, it's still cute. I'm gonna have to like write a note on this pattern piece about that seam allowance for it. Okay, so that, super cute. Look at that. That's what we have. So what I mean by side is this. This should be lining up. And normally I'm a real stickler about that, but since this is alive and I couldn't redo the zipper panel, that's just how it is. So if you're binding this, seam allowance, 1/2 inch right here, guys. Okay, that is what that looks like. Let's add the other half. All right, and another tip is I leave my, I don't know if you saw it, but I leave my zipper undone. Like I leave it open. It's easier to sew all this when it's open, okay? All right, so now we're going to put the other side on the same way. Hi from Kuwait. Wow, hello. Yeah, 1/4 inch. What did I say? Sorry. I would do a 1/4 inch seam when you're sewing up the gusset piece. Yeah. For this method of putting it together, for the binding method, I would do a 1/4 inch instead of a 1/2 inch. Have you tried elastic for binding? I have not, but I've heard it's fabulous, and maybe I should. Fold over elastic. I've heard it makes fabulous binding. To be honest, I ordered some from Amazon, and it was so little and wimpy, I must have ordered the wrong stuff. So I did try. It just was not the right kind. All right. Catherine, yes, you can do it that way. Yep. I have done it that way. It's a good way to do binding. It's a lot neater and clean. I just have the tiniest bit too much right there. Okay. Other side. I use so many clips when I do this part. You can never have too many, right? Oh, so Sweetness does? I'll have to try that. Renee, still haven't tried binding? You need to try it. You need to do it. It is really not that hard. Even though my gusset didn't line up perfectly, that's because I altered this pattern. Normally they line up much better than this. It's just, there's so many different ways to put bags together. It's just fun to experiment and try with different techniques, I think. Once you bind, you never go back. Yeah, pretty much. I just know I'd rather fight with this than sometimes fighting with trying to birth a gusset type bag. That to me is horrible. I hate doing that. So to each their own. All right, let's sew this last part up. Yeah, it gives it amazing structure, Helen. I agree. The binding does make your edges so crisp. It's kind of awesome. Okay. Deep breath, almost done. What time is it? All right, we're doing good. Can I finish this in 20 minutes? I think I can. Here we go. Usually the second half, the second part of your binding is a little bit tougher because you are working with, you know, the whole other side of your bag. So just don't be afraid to squish it in there and move it to where you need it to be. Yeah, my hands kind of do ache after I do something like this. Usually I don't do this all in one sitting either, so I can take breaks and it's better. Almost there. All right, do you guys want me to show you the binding on this other half, or do you want me to be done? I guess we're pushing on 2 hours and I don't know. It's just we repeat the same steps as we did on the other side. All right. Second half is sewn on. I just need to trim kind of where I went over or it slipped a little bit. Again, it's not going to make a big difference or you're not going to be able to tell when we're all done. But you do need this kind of all together. All right. Okay, I got it. Let's do it. Let's finish her up. Okay, as long as you guys are good, here we go. So I just need to crease this again. Down the middle, I just fold it. I do have the handles all sewn up, so I can clip those on and show you the bag when we're done. It's like giving birth. I know, you need to see the end, right? It needs to be worth it. I'm super excited for this bag though. I think it's going to be really pretty. I am hungry. Thank you, Krista. Super hungry. That's okay. All right, here we go, guys. Sorry, let me just trim this. It's a little bit over. There we go. I need to get a drink real quick too. Just a second. I just spilled water. Okay, here we go. Clip this on. I usually start at the bottom of the bag. It just seems to be the best place to start for me. This bag will be for sale on my website when I'm done too. Just if anybody's wondering. I think it's gonna be super cute. Today is National Margarita Day, is it really? Perfect. Hi, Anita from the UK. We're almost done here. It's kind of super fulfilling and a sense of accomplishment when you finish a bag. I kind of love it. I'm very much the type of person who can't leave a project undone. I have to finish my projects or else it totally bugs me. Which is, I think, one of the reasons why I love bag making so much, because you can sit down from beginning to end and finish it. And you don't leave anything left for another day. It's kind of the reason why I love this. right, we're there. Dawn, isn't it always National Margarita Day? You guys are funny. Okay. Cynthia, you're doing a trailblazer? That's such a good, that was my very first tutorial that I ever did, was the trailblazer. That was quite the bag for me to take on for my first. Okay. Unless you have toddlers in the house. Yeah, for sure. Here we go. Everybody take a deep breath. I'm trying to get that thread out. There we go. All right, here we go. Ending stitch. Oh, Dalva, thank you. I love the new colors. I need to design a bag so I can use them. Clips flying everywhere. Oh, the embroidery machine's good. I haven't been on it in a while. Been a little distracted. All right, guys. I do not. Who is there a Spanish speaker on here? I'm not sure. You use something here, I think is what she's saying. Shoot. Okay. Shall we turn this out? Look how hot and pink and red my face is. Okay. There are so many clips that fell on the floor. Here we go. The new assistant is doing fabulously. She is adorable. All right, here we go. It's a little bit tough to turn because it is all vinyl. If my hands weren't already tired, right? Now they will be. All right. So cute. It turned out so good. I know, my hands. Woo! All right, guys. Oh my gosh, totally worth it. The aching hands, totally worth it. Look at that. Oh my gosh. There it is. That is such a cute bag. Again, my sides do not line up like they should. So don't do a 1/4 inch seam allowance here, or don't do it 1/2 inch, do a 1/4 seam allowance when you're sewing these together. And that should help majorly with that whole issue. But other than that, holy cow, I love it. Let's clip on my handles real quick. Let me push this out a little bit more. Sorry, gotta push out my corners just a little bit more. Yay, okay, here we go. I just have little 3/4 of an inch wide handles here that I will be riveting on. Not on camera, just because I need a break, basically. Oh, let's just show you what it all looks like when it's done, though. So cute. Yeah, the binding really does give it amazing structure. And there it is. Yay! That is my finished How You Doin' bowler bag. I even have, I have my cute little tag here that I was gonna hang right here. So cute. There it is. Hopefully this helps you if you want to make this bag and you were scared to do the drop-in. Now you have another option. I feel like these bowler bags are amazing with binding. It gives it the perfect shape. I love it. And this whole side thing, it'll only bother people who are bag makers. Nobody else will know that, right? All right. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate all your support and love. And I hope you guys have a fabulous week. All right. Bye, everybody.